Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Alhamdulillah. Welcome to the international webinar research publication for university ranking. Our program today is organized by University Teknologi Mara, Kelantan branch, co-organized by CIMAT University Library. This collaboration is our third program between UiTM and CIMAT in the face of the international cooperation. Our previous program, which is last year, was about corpus bibliometric reporting for CIMAT University. This year, we continue and resume our cooperation on the topic of research publication for the goal and purpose of achieving excellence in university ranking. Our distinguished speaker for today's webinar is Professor Dr. Faridah Haji Hassan from UiTM Global. She is the resident reviewer for the UiTM Global Center. Before we begin, I would like to read the professor resume. Professor Dr. Faridah Haji Hassan is from the Department of Ranking at UiTM Global, University Teknologi Mara, Malaysia. She is currently the president of World Academy of Islamic Management. She is also the advisor of General Match Cafe and fellow Chartered Institute of Marketing, United Kingdom. She was the founder of Halal Management and Science, Halal Mas, the director of Institute of Business Excellence, and the former dean of Faculty of Business Management in UiTM. Her works involved in numerous international research, consultancy, training, publication, and she was the chief and current associate editor for two Scopus journals, which is Match Cafe and Emerald Journal of Islamic Marketing, JIMA. She is a regular invited speaker in various international conferences in halal, marketing, and strategic business management. Okay, how are you doing, Prof?
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Sorry, before we continue with our your talk, I would like to read our colleagues, our collaborator speech for a while. Okay. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues and participants, good afternoon for Malaysia and good morning for Somalis. It is my great honor to address you today at this significant webinar on research publication for university ranking, organized by the CIMAT University Library globally in collaboration with University Teknologi Mara, Malaysia. Although I am unable to join you in person, I am grateful to my esteemed colleague, Dr. Muslim, for reading this speech on my behalf. This webinar marks the third in collaboration in our series with UiTM, reflecting the strong bond and mutual commitment to academic excellence and knowledge sharing between our institutions. As I have previously mentioned, Malaysia remains our first choice for overseas studies. Many of CIMAT University alumni who have studied in Malaysia now hold top position within our country. This is a testament to the high quality of Malaysian education and its significant contribution to our national development. Our earlier webinars have covered essential topics such as the slim library system and last year bibliometric corpus reporting. Today we are privileged to have Professor Dr. Faridah Haji Hassan, who will lead us through the crucial subject of research publication and its impact on university rankings. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Prof. Dr. Faridah for her valuable contribution and to Dr. Muslim for his unwavering dedication to this collaborative initiative. I also extend my gratitude to all international and local participants attending this webinar. Your presence signifies a collaborative commitment to advancing our understanding of how research publication can elevate university ranking. At CIMAT University, we pride ourselves on being a leading research institution within Somalia. However, we recognize the need to compete regionally and internationally. This webinar is a crucial step in that direction. Research publication play a pivotal role in enhancing university reputation, attracting international collaboration, and ultimately improve rankings. Through rigorous research and publication, we can contribute to the global body of knowledge, solve pressing societal issues, and drive innovation. As we embark on this enlightening session, I urge all participants to actively engage, share insights, and absorb the valuable knowledge that will be presented today. Together, we can elevate our institution and contribute significantly to the development of our communities and Ummah at large. In conclusion, I wish you all a productive and inspiring webinar. May the knowledge we gain today empower us to reach new heights in academic excellence and global competitiveness. Thank you all for your wonderful presence. May Allah bless your knowledge and effort. Thank you. Muhammad Syed, the director of SIMAT Mufti Levi. That is his talk. So I'll leave it to you, Professor Dr. Faridah.
Okay, thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning in Somalia and a very good afternoon in Malaysia, especially in UiTM Kelantan. All right. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Muslim, who is the Chief Librarian at the UiTM Kelantan, as well as our Honorable Mr. Muhammad Said, the Chief Librarian from SIMAT University in Somalia. And thank you to all the ladies and gentlemen who joined me this afternoon from Somalia, and also some of my contacts from Indonesia who were very interested to be with us this afternoon. And before I begin, I would like to highlight my background. I am with the UiTM Global in the Department of Ranking. And I would like to express my gratitude to my bosses. Our new boss today would be, our new boss as of, I think it was yesterday, it's on the 17th, is Datin Azida. And our former boss was Prof. Shariman. And the head of Department of Ranking is Dr. Amirul. Okay, and so this particular module program that I am sharing with you is from Department of Ranking, developed by my colleagues, if you remember, especially those from UiTM, my colleagues who developed this module, Prof. Azni, former TNCAA, Prof. Azami, he's a research in rubber expert. And we have Datin Hajibah, okay, from the academy, I would say, language, and myself. So two of us are in the social science. I am from the business background, and the other two are from the science background. So when we conduct this kind of workshop and modules, normally we have a general introduction on how publication is required for ranking in the universities, and from there we conduct whether it is specialized for the social science or specialized for sciences program, because there's a slight difference over there. And after that, we conduct the workshop. So what I am sharing with you all today is just the introduction of Module 1. We have two more modules. Module 2, which is a very lengthy one, which requires 2 sessions. And Module 3 is the last module, which I think if you all are, any of you are interested, whether locally in Malaysia or abroad, in Indonesia or Somalia, because we have conducted this with University of Chulalongkorn, a session for all of them to learn on how best to publish, and we also help them to review their papers before they submit for Scopus or WOS publication. Okay, so I'm just sharing you Module 1 as a teaser. And for Module 2 and 3, you have to write in case you are very interested in the details, okay? All right, so to begin with, yes, as what Dr. Musi mentioned just now, it so happened I was the chief editor for Scopus 3 Journal, which is Journal of Malaysian Journal of Consumer and Family Economics. So if any of you are interested in publishing anything to do with consumerism as well as family economics, you are welcome to publish in that journal. But I'm no more the chief editor now, okay? I'm just an advisor. So the second journal that I'm involved in is the associate editor to Journal of Islamic Marketing, and for this journal, it is Scopus 2. It's Emerald Scopus 2. So actually, there are thousands of listing of journals, Scopus and WS. But for your information, I would like you all to be careful with predatory journals before you decide to publish. Okay, do a checklist on these journals before you decide to publish. So with that, I'm ready to begin with my session today. And in case any one of you would like to stop me in between, because sometimes you have this burning question that you need to stop me, I welcome that. You don't have to wait until the end for the Q&A, because I may forget what I've presented. So let's begin. Please fasten your seatbelt, and I hope you have your cup of coffee or tea this now, all right, and enjoy the session. Okay, let's move on to the next slide, Dr. Muslim. My slides, actually, I have about 53 slides, 53 or 59, sorry. That will take about 1 minute, one slide. But I can do a Shinkansen train ride, fast train, 400 kilometers per hour. Can do it within half an hour. But if you feel that you need more time with me, you can take the 1 hour and have the Q&A after that. So I did ask Dr. Muslim just now, how long is this session? He mentioned about 1 hour. So I don't want to bore you. I will try to make it as fast as possible so that you are alert. And I have to thank Dr. Muslim for considering me today to share whatever we have. And I hope that this is beneficial for all of you. Yeah. So getting your papers published and cited, as you know, for any ranking universities, okay, please take note that in Malaysia, we are very active right now in doing ranking, and most of the ranking is based on publication, and publication must be high index, or it must be something that is reputable, Scopus, WOS, and in that category. And if you publish in Q1, Q2, you get very good incentives as compared to Q3 and 4. But before we begin, I like to share a little bit of information that may excite you. For some of you, for the first timer, you may think that, hey, let's go into Q3 and 4 because it should be much easier than Q1 and Q2. Sometimes it may not be true. Q1 and Q2 may be easier than Q3 and Q4, because Q3 and Q4 are trying to go up the ladder, and their requirements are very stringent. You'll be surprised to see that Q1 and Q2 also look into very fundamentals, complete paper, not that complicated, for easy readers and all that. Okay, let's move on, Dr. Muslim. Next slide. Okay, now let's take a look or revisit yourself, the motivation for you to publish. Okay, are you helping with the university ranking? And if you do, the university always owe you that, because there are some of us, some people used to tell me, hey, it's actually Pareto's what do you call that, rule, okay, formula, that is 20% publish, 80% just sit back and relax. It may be true, it may not be true. To some extent, it is true, because this 20%, no matter how busy they are, because there's a research done on this, however busy they are, they will keep on writing, and they make it happen because they like They like to contribute to the society, to the community, to the reading world, and they feel good when they see their names and their thoughts are being shared and being cited or being referred by other authors. So if you have to start somewhere, yeah. If you belong to the 80% group, it may be your first time, but you move yourself rank to the 20% group of those who love writing, meaning you are changing the iceberg to 80-20 in university. Okay, so for a university that has majority of PhD holders, as the academia or even in the admin group like Dr. Musim himself, so do publish, because you are really helping the university, and the university will not want to lose you because you are really contributing to push up the university's position in the country as well as in the region. Okay. Secondly, you may want to do the publication because of promotion. Normally, when you're about to get the gate crash that you are time out for next promotion, everybody will be busy doing their publication, except the ones who get stressed out would be the journal editors and the group. Why? Of late, I get pissed off with authors because they write directly to the chief editor, to the editorial group. They harass them because they want to graduate, because they want to get promotion, because this thing was not happening during my time. Okay, so we are very professional in it. We don't contact the editorial group, and yeah, we don't even WhatsApp them or even get the number, and we don't have access to that. Um, so what happened is that we abide by the ruling, but I don't see that now, because we get emails from strangers, WhatsApp from strangers, and they get very angry. But well, put that aside, okay? So, but I just want to share how we reviewers and editors face the music. Next, some people say without funding. Sorry, Dr. Musim, one more. Okay. Some people say that without funding, I can't publish. The answer is totally wrong. Okay, I wouldn't accept that, because we are very lucky to have postgraduate students and even undergraduate students. If you know how to use the information that they have collected according to your requirement, you are able to publish without funding, right? Now, in my university previously, if you don't have any funding, you can register to make your paper considered as funding, because in one of the category of publication, okay, ranking, is to have qualitative paper and quantitative paper. And not only that, the paper must be local as well as international. Not only that, the paper must be research based or consultancy based. So if you do not have any points on consultation, you can register your publication under consultancy. During my time, you just pay RM1 and you are considered as one of consultant. But now I think the requirement be different. So check it out. Okay, so the last question down there, you can see which is true for you. Are you altruism or is it personal? Okay, if it's altruism, okay, for especially universities like UiTM, which used to emphasize for entrepreneurship, meaning you're helping the society to groom to boost the economy. That's a noble reason for you to get involved in the research and do the right thing, because you're passionate about it, you're devoted about it, you are selfless about yourself in doing the research. But what if it is for personal reason? I want to do this publication because I want to get the promotion, which is fair. Nothing wrong with that. However, align your personal reason with the university's benchmarking or KPI. So both the university will get it and you will get it. Okay, next slide, Dr. Muslim. So the real reason for publishing can be many, okay, but I like the second line. As you can see, okay, scientific community, you contribute to them. So you do something that is in advance, that they may need. Like right now, the famous topic is sustainability. For example, food and food safety and security, that is considered, thinking ahead, because we do not know when the war will be coming, and how much food we have in the country. How are you going to monitor them? What's the database? Do you do the stock checking? So this kind of research does help the people, yourself, as well as the country. However, okay, when you do that, try not to repeat the studies. Okay, try to do a bit of how do I say it? Add on value added. And so what you need to do is to go into the knowledge, like for example, the three red dots over there. Number one, it is original. Okay, the results is probably an extension, and maybe you use a new method. Number two, you rationalize the results. Okay, why you publish this? Because it is really contemporary. And the third one is to present a review of the field, meaning this is what has happened in the past, and this is what's happening now, and this is what is expected in future. So you are able to bridge the gap between the past, the current, and the future. So it's like doing a bibliometric method of literature review to understand why you need to do this research. Okay, next slide, Dr. Muslim. Why in English? Because it's a universal language. However, it may not be true for some countries, because they are allowed to publish in the language that is most acceptable there, because the people over there are more comfortable, and they do a lot of references in their higher institution, in the universities, in the tertiary education, in their own language. For example, in Indonesia, that which has about almost 300 million population using Bahasa Indonesia, then it is acceptable. Okay, but in Malaysia, we do have Bahasa Malaysia Journal, but not that many. Now, another possibility of a language that is widely used would be Arabic. So you can publish that, because it will be used by the Middle Eastern group, as well as Southeast Asian countries, and those countries who does have Islamic thoughts and civilization in their tertiary education. They will accept also Arabic language. Okay, but otherwise, English is the most widely accepted across nations, across continents. Yeah. So writing a scientific paper on the right side, as you can see, requires intellectual activity. So papers like with empirical results, okay, with rigorous findings, tables, and all that, does help to show that your paper is not only literature or hearsay. It does have some quantitative and scientific element for you to prove to the readers. Next slide. Okay, what is the impact of the paper from reviewer's point of view? I can share you this because I am one of the reviewer. I am in the editorial board. Okay, this is what we expect when you submit a paper. Number one, what can we learn from reading this paper? But of course, before we read the paper, we look at the title. If the title is so captivating, interesting, happening, then definitely it just draw an interest. Yeah. Number two, is it worth knowing? If yes, so what? Okay. So before I proceed to the next one, okay, I do not know, Dr. Muslim, if I were to ask questions, can I hear the answers from this session, or I can just go blabbering alone?
The viewer can type the question in the YouTube chat.
Oh, okay. So if I ask them question, they cannot answer me directly. Not
Just by
without chatting.
no.
Not without chatting, yeah? Okay.
No.
If that is the case, allow me to ask a question and I will answer it also. Okay. Right. Now, let me ask you this question, okay? Because we are saying that what is the latest thing that people want to know? Okay. So like number one, say what can we learn, and what is it worth knowing, and so what? Now, surprisingly, I used to ask my audience, okay, any idea what topic is very, very popular before pandemic? All right. And during pandemic, the most popular and highly demanded papers that the publishers, as well as the authors, and the readers wants to know, would be on COVID-19. So you see a lot of papers pre-COVID, during pandemic, and post-COVID results. Yeah. But after the pandemic, the same topic of interest becomes popular again, right? So before, let me share with you. Actually, before COVID, the most popular topic is or was on LG, yeah, on LGB at that time, lesbian, gay, and bisexual. After COVID, LGBT. After that, recently we have LGBTQ. All right. It's sorry, yeah, it's a little bit sensitive for some of you, but I just want to share the truth. So it's lesbian, bisexual, gay, LGB, bisexual, BT, transgender, LGBT, Q. All right. Q would be questioning the gender, a guy or a girl. For some of you who doesn't bother on this, actually it becomes a social problem globally, right? If you remember a quotation, not a quotation, I saw in news recently, okay, Tun Mahathir warned the Malaysians that be careful if you are sending your children to EU countries. I guess he quoted EU because he was studying there, but actually it's across the continent. It can be in America, it can be in Australasia, it can be in Europe or many other parts of the world. So because he's afraid of the future generation who may have received their scholarship to further their studies, but they get involved with the world without understanding. Okay, they don't see this in their own country, but when they go over there, oh, it is an acceptable norm. Okay, so it's not normal to us, right? I just give another example. The only growing population in this world would be the Muslims. Why? Because we believe in the system and structure of marriage and procreation, whereas the other non-Muslims, um doesn't matter, you're free to do anything, all right, and they don't actually adopt the what do you call that, the marriage structure and the family structure like they used to during uh, pre-independence time. So, and you can see this going on. I'm in Malaysia, all right, but you can see this going on in the neighboring countries. I wouldn't want to mention which country, but the LGBT is real, all right. So that's one area that is a concern right now in the research. And another one right now, I think, is the buzzword. I think I get overwhelmed with such term, which is SDG. All right. So sustainable development goal. Anything that you do must be related to sustainable. So I guess, yeah, that's another area that you may want to visit. However, okay, let's move on to the blues colored points that I'm sharing. This paper, definitely, if you want to make it very impactful, you have to look into the ISI citations, okay, journal citations. I also mentioned to you just now, Web of Science, WOS, okay, and many others. Now, if you are not into that, you may also publish in the professional applications. However, the ISI, the NWOS, Emerald, Schemago, and whatever not are for the academicians. The pro and the I would say the promotion count, okay, on it is very high. Professional application are good for the professional fraternity. However, for promotion wise, the count may be part or partial of it, maybe half the marks that will be given for ISI or WOS publication. Okay, so we have professional application like for engineers, for accountants, for software, and many others as given over there. Okay, can we go to the next one, Dr. Muslim? Ethics. Okay, this is very, very important. I would rather use the word halal. Okay, If it is haram, don't do it. If it is halal, do it. So if you publish something that is ethical in the topic, ethical in the processes of doing it, meaning you don't plagiarize and you don't, use other people's words or other people's work, and so you are being ethical in the publication. Next, Dr. Musim. Okay, so the ethics of writing, number 1 is to share knowledge. Number 2, no conflict if possible between self-interest and the community. So you're helping the community because you have some hidden agenda with it, all right? If the hidden agenda is halal, okay, because you now why to you is good because you really want to help the community, is fine. But if you want to take advantage of this community, you're helping them because you want to what do you call that? You don't care about the after effect. If you remember, I think if I'm not mistaken, in India they had a problem with carbon, being I would say polluted in one city in India, and the whole society over there ended up being cancerous, because they use a lot of carbon in the manufacturing areas. So I think that's bad. You are doing it for economic purposes, but you can see the after effect on the community, which is negative. Okay, so this kind of research must be, I would say, revisited. Okay, next, do not duplicate your work, and try to look into advancement of it. And then you look into if your paper or your research topic has so much secrets in it, it is not a sign. It's not a scientific writing, because you cannot reveal anything. You cannot reveal the company, you cannot reveal the product, you cannot reveal the methodology. In the end, there's nothing in that paper. Okay, so if you have so much secrets, you cannot publish with a peer-reviewed journal. A peer-reviewed journal will give a very honest what do you call that, comments on how you can what do you call that, improvise your paper. Next, Dr. Musim, next slide. Author's responsibility. Okay, if you are the main author or co-author, you have to conduct research very ethical. Second, honest. Okay, if you borrowed it from someone. Third, avoid plagiarism. If you think your best friend would allow you to borrow their works, and you borrow their work and you do not quote their name, you better forget about it, because it happened to my colleagues in my faculty. Borrowed the works from another unit, all right, and they are colleagues, good friends, and they published that part of the works into the paper. And after that, it was being summoned by the other group. It was also being, I would say, challenged, and also being I would say the how do I say that, kind of belittled by the other group publicly in the university. So no words of apology was accepted. So I guess we have to be careful in what we do. Even though we think that they are our friend, they may be our worst enemy. So make sure you cite every name or reference that you decide to share, okay, in your publication. Then number 4, it must be original. Okay, it has not been published before. And if you have a few papers of the same data, okay, same data, make sure that at least 70% of it are not similar. So meaning you're allowed to have about 30%, maybe under literature review, but if possible, lessen it. Yeah? It's just like turn it in below 30%, below 20%. So it becomes more stringent now. Next, select the authors carefully and with their permission. Okay, maybe I want to use Dr. Muslim's name because he's a nice guy, and he's famous. He's been publishing in Q1 papers. So if I put his name, I also get benefit out of it. But suddenly Dr. Muslim is not comfortable with the topic that I'm doing, with the work that I'm doing. It's not to his standard. Then you get into trouble. Okay, so make sure you get their permission in writing if possible, yeah, because you play safe. And then next one, choose the best journal. So you really need to go through all the journals and see who are the audience. Okay, some of you may be asking me, should we go into the discipline or should we go into multidiscipline? If you ask me, I'll say try both. Go into the discipline because it is very specific. Go into a multidiscipline if there is two topics that you research in may have the, dual discipline. However, take note. When you do a publication in a dual discipline journal, there is good and bad about it, because one can be very lenient because I only understand half of it, I do not understand the other half, so up to the other person to evaluate further. But the other person may also be more stricter than the first one. In the end, you don't get published. Okay, it's all about luck also. Okay, so go by your instinct. So you can do both. Yeah, but you cannot do both at the same time. Choose one first, and then if the specific discipline reject your paper, then take that paper and go into multidiscipline journal. Next, kindly comply with all the requirements by your selected journal. You cannot take this paper that you submitted to the specialized discipline, and after that you took the same format and give it to a multidiscipline. Take note, journals and reviewers and editors are not garbage bin. All right, you are accountable to your publication. Adhere to the format, and then you have a very high chance to do the publication. Next, Dr. Muslim. Author's responsibility, number one, identify the sources of funding if you have it, yeah, and acknowledge them. So you have to put all the citation of reference and all that. Number two, make declarations. For example, let's say you borrow your lab, apparatus or equipment or references, library or whatever not. Please declare that. Number three, treat publication staff and reviewers with respect. I did mention to you earlier, we do get harassed emails and WhatsApp. They give us the deadline, and it's very sad because some of these journals that we are working with are free of charge, and yet we get threatened by them, to meet their deadlines. And I went like, my God, who are you to, summon us to do this kind of things? If you are being paid, it's kind of different, because there are journals that are payable. Maybe they need to meet that deadline. But for journals that do not charge anything to their authors, please be careful on how you treat the reviewers and the editorial board. Next, do not take critical reviews personally. Please take note, yeah, whatever blind reviewers feedback was given to you is meant to improve your paper. There are some people who get broken hearted, and not only that, they are broken hearted, and they get demotivated, and they don't want to pursue that paper, to improvise that paper. So I think I guess you have to put that personal feeling aside. You are here wanting to improve your publication writing, so have an open mind in whatever comments that they are being given. Even though if you disagree with the reviewers, you can explain to them that this is how why you justify, that the reason why you gave this kind of analysis and whatnot. Next, inform the publisher that you have discovered an error. Okay, if you realize after you have submitted the paper and there is an error, write politely to the publisher that I'm sorry, I think I found a mistake. So don't allow the publisher to get into trouble because of your error. Okay, because you demote the journal's ranking. Next, make sure that all persons involved are ethically responsible. I've seen this before, when the paper is good, everybody will be very happy, commending each other. But when the paper is bad, they started blaming each other, and they even write to the editorial board. Oh, we did not allow this to be published. This is not our work. It was that person's work. That's bad. Okay, so you see a can of worms, coming out with all sorts of problems. Okay, next slide, Dr. Muslim. Plagiarism. Okay, no copying of another idea or even words or images. All right. Okay, this one I need to highlight to you. Okay, earlier I talked to you about ethics, halal, haram. Even if you attempt to copy ideas, words, and images, it is haram. And I can tell you, I can promise you, I can guarantee you, it will not be barakah. Okay, you will get into trouble with your paper. So please don't even try to do this, because one day you'll be caught. So do not duplicate publication or self-plagiarism. What is self-plagiarism? You write one paper, and then you write another paper, you quote yourself. You write another paper, you quote yourself. And then you write the fourth paper, you quote yourself. Okay, so in bahasa Malaysia, syok sendiri ya. But you are only allowed to self-plagiarize, not self-plagiarize, but self-quoting twice, not more than that. So other than that, we look into copyright issues. Authors may have given away rights to publishers. So once they do that, they cannot use the same material to publish elsewhere. That is wrong. You can be sued by the publisher. And then publishing a new paper with a different set of authors. It's the same paper. Then you put different authors. That's not right. So what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is actually intellectual theft. Okay, so the panic here is to cite or quote original author or authors, and you can even do indentation or italics when you do that, depending on the format of the journal. Next slide, Dr. Muslim. Citation. Okay, very important. Quote the original source, the proper research, okay, give the credit, acknowledging their ideas. Then you cite to allow the reader to track down, because sometimes we found out that, it was well done, but when we check at the references, that paper is missing, or it may not be the right year or the right topic, and so on. So it's a makeup thing. Okay, next, citations actually serve as a fast checking. So we right now we have all the apps to do the checking. You look into the citation, you look into the reference. If it doesn't match or is missing, so we can you'll be I would say the degraded on your credibility. Okay, next, it makes one a better researcher and writer when you quote others, and then it enables verification. Okay, it's a valid thing, it's credible, and it's a short way to identify a published work. For example, when you have literature review, you have a lot of citation, so you can see a pattern that this thing is a classic research done way back in 1950s, 40s, but you have kind of emulated it, but enhanced further. So that's the purpose of citation. Next, Dr. Muslim. Elements of citation need the author's name, the article, the book or journal, the date, and the volume and issues numbers. Next, Dr. Muslim. Citation style. Okay, I am giving you a few examples over here. Like, for example, APA style, American Psychological Association. So you write the name of the author, and then the year, and then the journal title. Okay, and then the name of the journal in italic, and then the volume and the pages. So citation, you just write Osman and the year. All right. Now, the second type is MLA, known as Modern Language Association. You write the full name, all right, the last name and the first name, and then the title of the journal, title of the journal name, sorry, and underline it. Take note, the first one you italic, second one you underline, and the rest are about the same. Then we have IEEE, which is quite popular in UiTM, because these are and this IEEE. Right now, I could see, in fact, during my time, they do offer both scientific and social science papers. Okay, so this time you identify the abbreviation of the name of the journal, the topic, and then then after that, the name of the journal, and the rest are about the same. Okay, next slide, Dr. Right. So examples of citation in the text, if you do numbering system, you can see there, below there. So at L, number 10, author, which author, number 11, which author. Or if you look in the one in blue, you can see another way of citing it, okay, would be between 13 to 18, this would be these authors, and so are the rest, okay. Next, Dr. Muslim. Okay, if author date system, you can see over there, you write the name of the author, then you write the year, okay, and then you parenthesis it, okay, or put in paragraph. Next, Dr. Muslim. How to write a good manuscript. Okay, this is fundamentals, shortcut or basic understanding. Next, Dr. Muslim. Okay, take note there are differences between manuscript, paper, journal, scientific paper and journal article. So you may be involved in any of these 4 publication for your KPI, for promotion, for yearly academic, how do you call it? Performance appraisal, okay? So if it is manuscript, it is a draft, okay, to review a publication. If it is a paper, it may be from a proposal, a report. But if it is a journal scientific paper, it is original research, and format is being given, and you have to follow the ethics, and you have to understand the printing and publishing services being required. Right now, previously they used to have in conferences, papers will be, they promise you to publish in Scopus, but nowadays, the conference organizers do not want to do that anymore. So what they do is, they said selected papers will be published in journals because they don't want to take the accountability. So they charge very low for the conference, okay, presentation. And if it is good, they will direct you, okay, you publish in this journal, you deal with that journal, you pay for the publication. So the payment is separate actually, yeah, not together with the conference. Okay, the last one would be journal article, where you write on specific topic by experts. So it's been reviewed by experts too. Next, Dr. Muslim. So a scientific paper must be actually written for others to read. Maybe you yourself, would like to follow up this study under recommendation, what to do, what's next, okay? Another one, it can be your students, your juniors, other researchers, or even the reviewers. If they find it so interesting, they will pick up your recommendation and they will do the study further. Okay, but a scientific paper must have this logic, all right? When you read it, oh, okay, I understand this very well. Clarity, all right? And if possible, a simple language, not too literature to the extent that very flowery that the readers cannot understand what you're saying. And then the one, precision, okay? Please remember, best-selling books are books that are being written very simple to understand. Okay, so if you have all these 3, you're on the right track. Next, Dr. Muslim. So contents of journal paper, number 1, it can be a journal paper which is not the same as technical report, thesis or novel, because technical report is very specific, very technical, okay? Very specific group, professional group. Thesis, very detailed. Novel is like writing a bibliography. Okay, second, the research project may be large, so several papers can be produced. I have seen journal papers with 21 objectives, 11 objectives. I feel what a waste, you can divide 11 objectives into 3 or 4 different papers, sub-objectives, and you can use the same literature but improvise a little bit. Remember, I mentioned to you, acceptable 30% similarities, but if possible, lower it. All right. So please, if you have so many objectives from your thesis, whatever not, from a major transnational TRGS grant scheme, yeah, or LRGS, okay, long-term grant scheme, come on, please divide it into several papers. Next, many journals impose a limit on the number of words. Yes, true. Right now, for social science, they allow 4 pages with dual column. All right, so you have to fit nicely. Sometimes, seriously speaking, when I get papers that are so long, 35 pages, oh, I think I need real black dark coffee, peach coffee, and to stay awake to understand what this is all about. More so if it is so descriptive without any graphics, without any tables and all that. You really need to slot yourself to understand what is the author trying to present. Okay, and do not use unnecessary words or phrases. A study of this, blah blah. No, I always encourage my authors to write 3 things if possible. Yeah, DV, dependent variable, MV or IV, moderating variable or intermediating variable, plus um, DV, IV, sorry, MV and IV. IV would be independent variable. Dependent versus independent variable plus moderating or intimidating variable. So, straightforward. Now, when you have that title, your objective will follow through. Your literature review will follow through the DV, IV, and MV. All right. And then your conclusion recommendation will be the same, even finding analysis. So you will not go wrong. The title reflects the whole journal writing, and the journal writing reflects the whole title. Not only that, even the keywords under the abstract will also pick up the terminologies in the title. Okay, so if you find it difficult to understand, then you have to have another session with me. Next, Dr. Muslim. Okay, this is the differences between thesis and journal article. I really get pissed off when I read journal article and I see the same thesis format. All right, please avoid this. Yeah, journal article is journal standard, reviewed by blind reviewers. You do not even know who are the reviewers. We also do not know who is the author. Must have sections, not chapters. Word limits, not a lengthy paper, 50 pages and all that. No. It can be 8 pages. It can be 4 pages with 2 columns. It can be, actually right now I could see the common one would be 12 pages, the max, okay? Then we have manuscript format. You have to visit every journal to understand what is the format and follow through. Next, succinct research of literature. So if possible, make a table and summarize all the literature in it. Then IRB describe in 1 to 3 sentences. Okay, meaning you have to write your objective, your research findings, and the result in 1 or 2, 3 sentences there. Essential and succinct tool information, okay, methodology. And then we have selected findings presented. Remember just I mentioned to you, 11 to 21 objectives. So please cut it, okay? Cut it and present 3 objectives at a time in one paper, and you have several papers. So imagine 21 objectives. You can have 7 papers. You can get promoted in UiTM easily with 7 papers, all scopus or WOS. Then, okay, tenses. Okay, tenses. My supervisor taught me, if possible, do past tense because the research is over. All right. But I also learned from other authors who, I would say facilitator who you may do intertwine like with a continuous tense or whatever. Okay, but I would go for past tense. Next, Dr. Muslim. So these are the types of papers. Empirical, you have data collected, method, techniques, case study, meaning you can do an industry study, so specific situation. Methodology is very important. If you are a DBA graduate, they normally emphasize on methodology in the paper. You can use whatever analysis in there. Theoretical, okay, this is based on concepts and models and framework. Next, Dr. Muslim. So, originality of idea. Do you have something new or interesting that's very important? As mentioned to you, title itself must be attractive. Is it captivating? And then check the most recent work in your field by reading the latest journal publication. If you ask me my tips how to impress your reviewer, please, the first part of the introduction must have the latest citation. So we are now in 2024 in the month of May. You must have at least one citation, maybe in January or February, that is published relating to your topic. And then of course the rest would be 2024, 23, and maybe a classic one in 1950. All right, so you must have that spectrum of research reference. Next, Dr. Muslim. Choose the type of journal. So you have to visit the list, look into the requirement, and then self-evaluate yourself whether you meet to their standard. Look at the example samples given And then if possible, if you have your supervisor before who are willing to still assist you, maybe you want to put his name in the paper, or a senior member or a faculty professor who doesn't mind spend the time to review your paper. They have good experience in publication. Put their name in as a recognition, because they don't ask money from you, but they really spend the time for you. Why not? Okay, so they help you in improving it and perfecting it. Next, Dr. Muslim. Readership. Okay, when you want to publish, you have to understand, is it a specialized paper? Is it multidisciplinary? Is it general? Is it international or local? So if you're from Indonesia, I'm not too sure about Thailand. Maybe they have it, okay? Maybe they have it. Or if you are from the Middle Eastern, you can localize it, have a Scopus journal in Bahasa Indonesia, or have a local journal, another Scopus journal in Arabic. Okay, that's possible. So if international, mostly would be in English, so use the language style accordingly, and you have to read the abstract and articles in the journal to learn the style before you publish with the same pattern. Next, Dr. Muslim. Choose the right journal. Okay, you must know who is reading it, and you must match it. Yeah, so as I mentioned to you, gentle reminder, one journal only at a time when you submit. Do not send to so many, because the chief editor will be very angry with you if he finds out that you also send to another journal, and they will bar you for 5 years for in publishing in their journal. So be careful. So hot topic, what I mean is that it is current. Okay, so your objective must be clear, and then you must also understand who are your readers. Next, Dr. Muslim. Okay, the guide for authors. Okay, template. Check this out in the journal before you publish. The layout, font size, font type, referencing that I've shared with you 3 types earlier. Yeah, MLA, or APA, and so on. And then number of words, tables, and diagrams required. Nomenclature. Okay, next. 28, general structure. This is our outline. Title, your authors and affiliation, and then abstract, keywords. Remember, title, keywords align. So if possible, DV, MV, IV, so it appears in your keynotes. Then you have only 4 sections over here, not like the thesis. Introduction. Remember, in order to attract the reviewer's attention, first paragraph in your introduction must have the latest citation, 2024. If you can't find a journal, you can take Newspeak, or you can even get it from a magazine, okay? Or a minister saying, you can put it in the first paragraph. And then methodology must be clear. Results and discussion must also be according to your objectives. And then conclusion must also end with recommendation. Remember, conclusion is what you want to act upon now. Recommendation is for future, so that you provide takeaways for your new researchers to continue with their work. Don't forget acknowledgement, maybe to your dean who give you time off for you to do the research. Acknowledgement to the industry who has assisted you, or ministry who have given you the grants. Okay, and finally references. If possible, again, to attract the reviewers' attention, references, the first one, try to start it with the latest 2024 references. Okay, next. Okay, this is a formula. You adopt IMRAD or IMFD approach, meaning, remember, in your abstract, you must have introduction, the objective, blah, 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 blah. Method would be what? Result, a bit only, of the findings, a bit of discussion, and finally, discussion means conclusion, recommendation. So this is IMRAD or IMFAD, what do you call that? Approach of writing your paper, journal paper. Next. This is the structure. I'm giving this slide to you. Go back, go through this slowly for you to adhere in order to publish high-ranking journals. Next. Findings from journal article. These are the common mistakes. Okay, 78% apply IMRD once they have attended our workshop like this. But then we found the common flaws. they don't even have introduction section, even don't have conclusion, and they use general headings, okay, but very few also had appendices, okay. So make sure you follow through this. Next, Dr. Muslim. So out of 123 manuscript, they submitted to the same journal. 18% declined without review, 21% manuscript were rejected after being reviewed. Overall acceptance was 61%. Average time to the first decision was about 5 weeks. Okay, although they promise you about 3 weeks, but in average, you must check the journal. But I do know one journal takes 1 year or even more because it's a free journal. Okay, Scopus journal is free, but they take more than 1 year to publish. And then no papers were accepted without revision, and 65% of the papers were revised by the authors, and 30% were revised twice, and 5% revised 3 times. Okay, as long as you can publish, it's okay to revise 3 times or 4 times. So where do we start? All right. Now, interestingly, in social science, you start with the data first, figure backwards, yeah? Data, figure, table, then you develop the objective, the introduction, finally the title. Surprise, surprise. But the sciences wouldn't like this. The sciences would blame the social science. You see, you guys, see the problem, then you wonder what would be your objective. Whereas in the sciences, they start with an objective, then they think about the experimentation, then only they follow through. So to me, it doesn't matter which way, as long as you get everything in order and you can get published, by all means, do it. Next slide, Dr. Muslim. So this is writing sequence. Go back and read it. Yeah. Next, Dr. Muslim. Another type of sequence, type 2. Okay. This is another format. Next, Dr. Muslim. Okay. Important features in an article. Content must match with the journal. Okay. Don't write a journal about content about SDG, but you write in a religious journal probably. Okay. So they'll be wondering, what has this got to do with our comparative study of religion. Okay, unless it's on green sustainability or something like that. Second, quality of paper must be sufficiently high. Okay, must be good. Result must be novel. Result must be significant. Should be complete enough for someone else to repeat your work. Meaning it's good because you have followers. Then you have several parts in the experiment. I normally, when I look into the science papers, they will show the experiment with a lot of graphics, photos, and all that. Now, when you do present graphics, photos, and all that, make sure it is a high resolution graphics. Otherwise, it will be rejected. Okay. If you want to take cut and paste, I tell you it will be rejected. So you need a technical person to prepare the graphics. Next, explain why and justification of the procedure, scope, limitation, future direction. Recommendation is important. And your most significant contribution in this paper, citation, okay, of different references, and significance of your paper. And then you can look into Google search. How many people quote your paper? Okay, let me tell you one thing. My background is marketing and strategic management, but my most popular citation is on 2 papers. One is on Islamic finance, the other one is on halal topic. Okay, because I migrated into that. So, but I do relate with halal marketing and on Islamic finance, on literacy. Okay, so it was by chance. It's not that something that I can plan now and I know what's in future. I just enjoy doing research, and then I realized there are followers in this. So when you realize that you have followers in this particular paper, which is significant, then you enhance in that because you become a master of it. All right. So if possible, with whatever expertise that you have. Next, Dr. Muslim. So title, keep it short. Okay. Not a sentence form. If possible, not more than 2 lines. So you must have a subject of the paper when you have the title, the main issue, accurate, explicit, attractive, avoid abbreviation. So somebody will ask me, can I put a SPSS title in the title? The answer is no. If you do, you have to put it in full. SPSS stands for Statistical Package for Social Science. Okay, So you have to put in full, not in abbreviation. Next, Dr. Muslim. Name affiliation. Okay, you have to decide. Okay, if your name is Azni Zain Ahmad, so do you want to write A Zain Ahmad with a hyphen H or A dot Zain Ahmad? Or you want to put Azni, A Z N I, and then Z dot Ahmad. Okay, Ahmad is your father's name, last name. So what do you want to decide for your reference? So, and stick to that from the very first day. If you want to stick to A Zain Ahmad with a hyphen until you retired of writing, well, not retired from your job, retired of writing, maintain that, because your citation will be what do you call that, popular, and will be high, will be the counts will be high. Now, for UiTM, for those of you who are from UiTM, please, it should be, this is a common mistake. University Technology Mara will be in capital letters. University, it will be auto-corrected TY. You have to change that to TI. Technology will be auto-corrected GY. You have to correct it to GI. Okay? And you have to be careful on this, because I do know one dean, very popular dean. He writes very well. He had about 100 over co-authors lab tests in sciences, yeah. And the co-authors, because everybody do the lab test, so the names are all there. Can you imagine if you have 100 or co-authors, your citation will go very high, because you imagine how many people will quote one name. So if there are 100 names, there'll be 1,000 for one person if there's 100 followers. But because he wrote there University Mara, not technology, so we lost all the counts. So isn't that ridiculous? So do not make mistake. You are the pride of university. You must also have the pride to write the name of the university correctly. Okay? Next, Dr. Muslim. Abstract, I've given to you just now. Please remember, in abstract, you must have objective, one statement, methodology, findings, conclusion, and recommendation. That's all. Okay. So next, no citation, yeah, in the abstract. Don't put there Faridah 2024. They will just throw your paper because you do not know how to write an abstract. You only do that in the full paper, not in the abstract. Next. I'm about to finish already, so hang on with me. The abstract must be concise, standalone. I've already given this. Is now next. 41. Slide 41. Contents. Okay, you must have research question, problem statement in it. Okay, what are the existing system, technical solution, models, scope, limitation, future direction, recommendation, significant contribution. So all the significant result must be there. Okay, I need to highlight this. I do have my PhD students before who threw away the significant result, but it is negative. So I asked them, why did you throw this away? Because it's negative. And I went like, hello, the result is significant. All right. So it is very important why you need to highlight that in your thesis. Just because it's negative, it doesn't mean that it is bad. There must be a reason why it is significant, but it is negative. But you need to justify. So do not only include all the positive significant results, you must also include negative significant result. Okay, because they are significantly correlated for whatever reason. So citation of relevant references. Next, Dr. Muslim. Results means the findings, statistics, performance analysis. So you can see between the correlation between dependent and independent variable, high, low, and whatever not. And then the equations, if needed for sciences and economics and finance, figures and tables, self-explanatory. And label symbols must also be very clear. That's why I said to you just now, have a high resolution table. Discussion, relate it with the objective in the findings, yeah, must be accordingly. Interpret result, conclude, compare result. Okay, do not use bahasa pasar. No colloquial language there. No flowery or fancy words. Okay, use either Queen's English or American English. Don't mix Queen's English, American English. So recommendation, recap the problem, relate the objective, provide strong messages, for future works. Next, Dr. Muslim. Acknowledgement important on the individual person, not your husband or your children. Highlight it very officially. The office people that may have helped you. Then your co-researchers. Next, the organization that funded and the reference grant must be also notified. Next, Dr. Muslim. Okay, these are the examples of the stuff I mentioned. It can be how it can be AMA, APA. Read that, yeah. Next. Yeah, references using APA. These are examples. Okay, these are APA. Next, Dr. Muslim. MLA. Next, Dr. Muslim. IEEE. Next, Dr. Muslim. Okay, some advice, do not hurry to write a paper. But do not be too slow. Because if you're too slow, your data will all be obsolete. Okay, so you must have that kind of check and balance, not too slow, not too fast, that it is substandard paper. So if you are a student, let your supervisor read it first. If you are a supervisor of your student, please read the paper. Not only that, I expect the supervisor to quote the student's name in the paper if you are in it, yeah, because you borrowed their paper. Do not plagiarize. A good paper is not only technically good, but the content and data are good. Check the grammar and spelling. As I've said to you just now, reviewers and journals are not garbage bin. So you don't want to check the English, you don't want to check your grammar. We also do not want to review your paper. Okay, as simple as that. So more advice, spelling of authors important, years of publication, at L. If there are too many people in it, so you use at L. Punctuation, references, abbreviation are all important for you to check. Next, Dr. Muslim. So these are recommended readings if you want to publish well. And I think that's about the last few ones. Next. Thank you very much. Do contact me if you have any questions anytime. You can WhatsApp me at my number. You can get it from Dr. Muslim. Thank you, Dr. Muslim. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Prof. Maybe I have one question. What is the
Sure.
best advice to young lecturers or
Yep.
the current generation of junior researchers? What is the most important aspect for the career development? Maybe you can sum up what we have
In
shared with us.
publication? In publication?
Yeah,
Yeah.
publication for
Put
career
it this
development.
way lah. We are now in UiTM in the era of 2025 going for global renowned university. So in order to be a renowned university, you need to have publication that is of global standard. And I think you can't run away, because the requirement of KPIs of young lecturers right now is to publish. And having said that, I am a little bit disappointed with young lecturers. They do publish, but they don't want to get involved with the university's activities. I think that's very bad, yeah, Dr. Muslim. You have to balance. I think we also need to look into not only publication, but also your activities, your contribution to the university. Now, during my time, publication may not be that important, but those who made it during my time are the ones who publish actually. Okay, because they are ahead of others. Even though university did not require it, but during promotional exercise, the evaluators during my time are not from our university. They were from KPT and from other ranking universities, from research universities. So you have no choice. If you don't publish, how can they rate you well? So for the young lecturers, I'm not worried about you all, because when I do road shows, I find you all very enthusiastic wanting to publish. I'm a little bit worried, Dr. Muslim, to the senior lecturers who do not want to publish. Why? Okay, I'm going to retire. Why do I need to publish? Nobody is going to disturb me. True, but at least if you leave a legacy, if you don't publish a lot, you publish some, your name will be there forever. Okay, so I would like you all to also, my senior colleagues, friends, publish for fun. If you don't want to do it for publication, publish for fun so that you share your experiences to your juniors, for the juniors to emulate your expertise. So that's my 2 cents, Dr. Muslim. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the for your 1 hour. I think 1 hour and 16 minutes have gone.
Yeah.
1 hour 60 minutes. Okay, Alhamdulillah. We're supposed to do 1 hour, but they have to do bonus. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Prof, for the program today, inshallah. We have come to the end of our program. On behalf of the organizers, UiTM and Semak University Library, I'd like to thank again our Professor Dr. Faridah Hassan for the invaluable knowledge and insight shared today. Also, thanks for our faithful viewers that follow this program faithfully from the start to the end. With that, we apologize for any shortcomings during this program. Inshallah, we will look forward for our next collaboration. And for the viewers, please scan the code and for attendance. Okay. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you.